Well, good morning or afternoon or good evening, whatever part of the world are you. So here in the United States this weekend, this next weekend, it is the 4th of July weekend, which the Americans celebrate Independence Day, right? But what most people do is just, they already, today's Monday, right? So what happened this week, most people are gonna be, not me, right? Because this week, the more productive are you, most people are already clocking off. So it's actually the best way to make appointments because people are already in a relaxed mode. They know they're gonna go maybe on a fishing trip or on a weekend trip, so everything is gonna be packed. The beaches are gonna be all packed and all crowded because it's the weekend. Most people are gonna take, because it's on a Friday, so most people might take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So 5 days they're gonna go on a vacation, and they're just basically gonna go drinking. They're gonna waste time. Now for us, the rogues, we're gonna be more productive, right? So a daily goal setter, a daily goal hitter. I think for me, the older I get, I'm gonna take advantage of this. To me, it is a short week, but it's gonna be what I call reverse productive week. So what I call the reverse productive week is pretty much the waking up as early as possible and be productive for 4 hours straight, or even 3 hours straight, like productive and with the intent to execute a goal. And what it does, not only you are getting ahead, like for example, yesterday we got up pretty early. We went for a run. We went to get some breakfast. Went to the store, the grocery store. So by 10:30, we already accomplished a goal that most people, they're already waking up, and then their day just getting started, right? So that's what I call reverse engineering. You can go on Google, but for me, reverse engineering is exactly the opposite what most people do, right? So this weekend, right? So as you progress on a Wednesday, they're gonna be already they're getting ready for the weekend. So there's not gonna be not a lot of production in companies because they're thinking on already the weekend. And that's a problem, because instead of being productive and closing more deals before you go on a vacation, you're gonna come the week after you come from holidays with a nice activity paycheck, right? Or whatever the case might be. So right now it's Monday. I went to one of the keys. And in things that I read over the past couple of years is go to bed early. I literally went to bed early last night. Man, so what it does to your body, not only you are so well rested, you have the energy to have a week of productivity. I don't go out to bars, to clubs, to baseball games. So most people they're gonna go to, it depends on the age are you in, right? If you are 50 plus, I'm talking about, I think most likely the 50 plus folks, right? That we don't have small kids. My kids are already adults, so I don't have to change diapers. I don't have to take into a football game or football practice. I don't have to take it on a vacation. So pretty much it is all full execution on the second quarter of our lives, right? So we're not in this world to to be, you know, we're in this world to be the best we can be. We got to be as more productive as possible, because we're aging in a society that the more are you within your own business, you know, doing your own stuff on your own time, and, you know, don't follow the crowds, don't follow, you know, well, I'm gonna go to maybe I'm gonna go to, you know, I'm gonna go to Miami, I'm gonna go to you know, to this, I'm just gonna go to you know, to an event, or unless the only events that probably you need to be attending is some sort of convention or self-development. I think for me, the most thing I spend my time with, it is in self-improvement, goal setting, and pretty much get the job done. You know, so this week we're doing the more work in a shortest period of time without you know, without how do you say, without just being responsible with your time, being more productive where you need to be more productive. Like for, you know, for most folks, from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you're like the most productive. You know, how can you be the most productive in the shortest period of time, right? You know, if you're in the office setup, you know, well, you know, most people hang around on the you know, the coffee machine, you know, drinking coffee, you know, they're not being challenged. Now, if you are in sales like me, you know, I just don't sit on a desk and drink my cup of coffee and, you know, and make 2-3 calls. I think Thursday or Friday of last week, I made 200 and I'm talking about a day. I make an average between 150 and 280 calls a day. So just so you know that the kind of productivity that I do, and I'm actually the top dialers on the high ticket sales. So I had to be productive, but the more the productive that I am, I had to go to bed early. I had to be in one of the great state of mind, because when it's go time, it's go time. You know, I was when my kids were here and we were you know, with a family, we were drinking. We went to get a cup of coffee. I wasn't, because I was drinking the juice. I was not feeling having a cup of coffee, right? So we went to this coffee machine, and I was observing these baristas making the coffee. And I'm talking, these guys were young. We're like 17, 20, I don't know, 20 years. Actually, they were like 20, I don't know how old it is, but they were young, right? And I was like, these people are slow. This is a line of probably 6-7 people, and these guys were like la making the coffees and just like chilling. With there was no hurry. There was no, and me like, man, I remember when I used to be a waiter in Cancun back in the 80s and 90s, man, I was hustling, because I gotta make it. I had to make the money when there was a tourist, right? So I used to work as a bellboy as well, right, in one of the hotels in Cancun, man. And I had to, you know, showing the rooms and getting the, I mean, I had to hustle. So by the end of the day, I was counting my tips, because, you know, obviously you know, I was like, man, I was making good money, right? But every day was like, you know, every day for me, it was like, dude, I gotta be able to produce if I'm be able to, you know, to get the extra income, right? Because you could work the normal schedule and just be like, you know, getting the customer, taken to the room, you know, drop the luggage and extend your hand for the tip, right? Because 20, 30 years ago, there was a massive tourists, so there was a lot of abundance. So there was a lot of business to be made in Cancun, right? But not only I realized, and I was observing one of my bosses, he was on the phone as well, right? Which means he was making money out of us, because he was like the bell captain, so he had to make his connections to pretty much making appointments and deliver. Everybody, he was the go-to person because he was pretty much he was the front of the house guy. So appointments for restaurant dinners, reservations, before these all-inclusive forensic came along, so these guys, they were, tour operators. That's what my dad made the money. So he had a streams of income coming in every month. So he have streams of income from the appointments that, the people were checking in, for the guys that were sending to some sort of like a fishing trip. So he say, hey, would you recommend a good fishing trip, or a good in Cancun there was the the jungle tour, right? So they were like, oh wow, what is the best jungle tour? So we have what was the name of that company? It was a bunch of companies. So if the hotel was full at full capacity, and where usually people go after they come down to the elevators, to the bellboys and the bell captains. So we had to become the Google and the AI from Cancun, right? And we didn't have cell phones, let me tell you. So we had to pretty much, have a contact with the guys in the office. I used to go around and walk around the restaurants. Say, I'm Roberto from the Omni Hotel, and hey, I'm gonna send you some guys, and just and they used to send you checks every month. Of course, the bell captain was taking his cut. Back in the day, the technology was not at a capacity that it is today. And that's what I love about the technology that we have today, because we can have, the ability to multiply 10x our, the sources that we work, and, the venues that we can do. But the good thing about being the old school kind of guys, and then you learn how to interact with this, with those kind of people, with tour operators, with tour agencies. Everything was done face to face, right? So as I'm going through, to this training from the 4th of July weekend, I'm giving you a training on, man, you got to go out there and have some face-to-face conversations, man. Like, even though if you work for a company and maybe you want to expand your business, or you want to do, you got to go out there and just shake some hands, man, right? The guy that is working in the place that we live in, and he actually got another job. So I called him yesterday, man. Say, hey, how you doing, man? How was your new job? And he was with the wife. So, I call you. It was a Sunday, so most of the people out there with the wives and families. I'll give you a call during the week, and just got because he's a maintenance guy. He knows how to do a lot of stuff. He has I believe the guy that he's recommend for the supervising position is one of his friends, a guy from Colombia, a very nice guy that he knows. Looks like a guy, he's a hustler. It reminded me of me, because you can tell as I was talking to him, he was talking about, when he was in Colombia, and he was, doing these things here and there. And it looks like the guy knows a lot of people. And I knew, because when you move to a new place, you're going to find a lot of things that you don't need. So as I was helping clear it, I helped him move, and he had a bed. I said, man, what do I want to do with this bed? And this dude came along. Don't worry, I have a friend from I have a friend from Cuba that might, she might want that bed or whatever. So not only that, he picked up the phone right there and called this person and says, hey ma'am, I have a bed for you, can you come and pick it up for free, right? And I was like, man, I building, because we moved here in a new state, so I'm building the connections and my network, right? My network of people, right? And he actually was very pleasant. He was telling me some stories when he was he said, man, I think he moved there a lot of times. When you come here in the U.S., just like us, I've been here in this country for 30 years, man. He was like, man, we're like moving and moving and moving, but the most rewarding thing, it is whoever build the most relationships over the long period of time. Even when I was in the state military, I was the guy that, like, hey, if somebody needed something, I was like, hey. I remember one day, I like to be prepared, right? So I have like a grinder on my car, because some guy left there. We were in some base or whatever, and some guy left lost the key of his lock, and just that big fake lock. He said, I have a grinder in the car, and every time, like an extra piece of I don't know, like extra gear. So I have extra gear if something happens. So I was always prepared, right? So you got to be always prepared in your repertoire, right? You got to have, if you're building a house or you're selling a house, and you got to have on your Rolodex, property owners, landscaping companies, and see, if you're at the back, there's these guys right in the back. I don't know if you can see it right there. This is they're building a new place here, and 6 months ago or 3 months ago, this was nothing. They're almost done. Landscapers, plumbers, electricians, contractors, subcontractors. I'm following this chick on Instagram. Her name is Cindy. She is based on New Jersey. She's a developer. Great job, man. Great job. And her houses are like immaculate. I mean, the attention to detail of these houses, it is just like amazing. Super, super amazing. So anyway, have a good day. Go help somebody that can ever pay. I gotta get going. It's almost that time. And go hit the like button, go build some relationship. And remember, this weekend is 4th of July weekend, and what do you do to execute, that is completely up to you. Talk to you later.